Thankful to be here this evening, and God has blessed us to be out and about for another day, another evening, and for all these blessings of life. So many wonderful things that we've heard today, at the funeral home and being here this evening, and sitting there, as we praying, I was thinking about Brother Jerry, talking about the old brother that died and been in the church for 61 years. His blessed companion, they've been married for 62. And so now thank you, Brother Jerry, about how the Bible teaches us how we twain. And no doubt this evening she's at home, where, it's part of her dead. But, the thought that I had, what joy there is, Brother James, the knowing that they live together with the Lord. One day after a while, Brother Jerry, they'll be together in the land. There'll be no more separation. There'll be no more dying. As Brother Jerry preached still there. There'll be no more dying. There's no more sickness. And why men and women don't want to turn over their lives and go to a place like that, Brother James, it just sometimes makes you wonder, but as Brother James preached there, I was just like him. I was going down the wrong road and done things in my life that I was so ashamed of that I finally realized that hell was going to be my home if I didn't change. And so thankful that God touched my heart, and I began to still out and pray and began to seek out. I wanted to go to the church. I wanted to hear about this little man called Jesus. And sitting there thinking, and if the Lord will, I will. And I was going to try to sing a song that come on my mind, but talked to my sister. My sister's in the hospital, had open heart surgery. And Sister Fran, which is a member of this church, she fell and actually got 3 fractures in her neck. And it seemed like it's been one thing right after another. But the joy the other day, they took the ventilator off. She's back on the ventilator and got a lung collapse now. But when my brother went in, she probably could talk, Brother James, and she said, Herbie to pray, and James to sing. And so we have prayer, and as I was trying to sing, she's trying to sing along with it. So I said, well, before I come home, I want to go back and see her again. Well, it wasn't but Brother James then, and it was James saying and James praying. And but that's what God's children, it's all about, Brother James. They want to hear about the Lord. It makes no difference what kind of condition you're in. You want to hear about the Lord. My sister, everybody was worried to death about her because of all of her health conditions, and they said she had to have open heart surgery. But the greatest word she said, don't worry about me. I'm a winner either way. If the Lord takes me home, I'm a winner either way, Brother Jerry. But when she came out of the surgery, she said, if anybody asks how I'm doing, just tell them God brought me safe. Brought me safely through. God was there with me and helped me through all of it. And I said, if anybody asks, just tell them the Lord God helped me through it all. But that's the joy of having the Lord in your life. And having him in there with you. And one other thing that's on my mind, and I'm going to go back and ask my brother, he had to have open heart surgery a few years ago, Brother James, and it's actually stuck on my mind as we're sitting around in the hospital all them hours waiting to see how the outcome is going to be. But he had to have an open heart surgery himself. He said, he said, I was there in the room. He said, we come out. All the people was there to see me, and as we was going down the hall, he said, I got so far, and my wife would go, and they stopped there, and said, you could go no farther with her. He said, the thought that comes to my mind was the day, maybe the day that I meet the Lord. Yeah. One of my Lord secretary. Yeah. He said, the day may be the day that I meet the Lord. But he said, all through the surgery, Brother James, he said, the Lord come and was there with me, Brother Jerry. It's the God we serve today. He never said, I'll never leave you and I'll never forsake you. I'll go all the way with you. What a joy that is to have that down in your life and have it in your heart.
Yes, sir.
Especially if you got the Lord, you got to go through things like that. What a joy it is to be able to have that feeling.
Yeah.
That whenever you got to face death, you got somebody right there with you.
Yes,
I thank God for all these blessings of life and how that what He's meant to me through my life. Like Brother Jerry, I said that a while ago. He's blessing you. Looking at that little boy, he's blessed above measure. He gave me more than I should have ever had, Brother Jerry, to life. And I'm so thankful. And I give Him the praise and the glory and honor for it. You know, when his brothers were talking about, I was lost and undone. And I love, Brother James, when you said, I realized hell was going to be my home, and I could take you back pretty well and put my knees right back in that same place. And I become this way, just like you, Brother James. God has come and saved my soul. If Patsy and them little boys come home and they find my dead body in the living room, I just let heaven be my home when I leave this world. But the joy of it all, He didn't want to take my life, Brother James. He wanted to give me life. And all He wanted me to do was ask Him for it.
Yes, sir.
And I was there praying. And I began to beg God, just like I said, I know hell was going to be my home, but I wanted heaven to be there. If I had to give my very life right there, I down on my knees to begging for mercy this evening. But the good thing about it all, Brother James was, and there was church that evening. He said, go home and tell thy friend the good things that the Lord's done for you, Brother James. And I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah, man.
Brother James did a preaching about the wild gathering. I come to see this man. You know, when he come there, he clothed him and put him in the right mind. But this is the thing about the story when Jesus was going to leave, Brother Jerry. He wanted to go with him. He didn't want to leave him there, Brother James. But this is a good thing about it all. He wanted him to stay and tell about the good things the Lord had done for him today, Brother James. And that's why we're here this evening, trying to tell the goodness of the Lord. That if you're lost and undone, for God's sake, chill out and pray.
Yes,
ask God to come into your life and let Him lead you along this way. What a joy it is to have God in your life when troubles and heartaches come. What a joy it is that you kneel down and pray, Brother James, for your family when they ask for prayer today.
Man.
Don't have to be just your family.
Anybody.
It could be anybody.
Yes, sir.
There's a brother, I'll tell this, for the glory and honor of God. And when my brother went to visit another band that worked for my brother for so many years, and he's down sick, and my brother Randy, I got cancer. Don't know if he's going to live or not. He's so concerned. He wanted to go see him again yesterday. He's so concerned about his soul, Brother James. He began to try to talk to him about the Lord. He told him, he said, I'm not a religious man. Didn't really want to talk a lot about it, Brother Jerry. My brother was so concerned, he got a minister, you go talk to him. And the minister went and talked to him. And he told him, he said, I'm not a religious man. He said, well, I ain't here to talk about religion. I'm here to talk about Jesus. You need Jesus in your life more than you need anything in this world. I ain't want to talk about religion. I want to talk to you about Jesus. Somebody can save you and take you out of this world and make you better today. The good thing, when we was down there and we got ready to go, my brother looked over and said, you carry me home prayer and I'll pray for me. And that's a good thing. It's a start, Brother James. You got him seeking after the way he needs to go today. And if you're here and you're lost and undone, for God's sake, still out and pray. Ask God to come into your life. I love what Brother James said. I got them little grandchildren. What would you give? And I got a son that don't walk for the Lord. What would you give this evening, Brother James, to be able to hear them all come in and turn their life over to Him? People say, Brother James, it may jump on to be. People say you can't give your life for your children today. You let one of them get down and sick and out, and you got the love of the Lord in your heart. I know I become a beggar for Jeremiah when he was in the hospital. They thought sure. Didn't know if he could make it back home one more time. They said he's going to get down to where he can't even feed himself. We'll let them put him on a ventilator to keep him alive. Maybe filter his blood when he had that Guillain-Barré syndrome. You talking about a little boy that's still down in the hallway. And Patsy said, you was there, you went out in the stairwell. The reason I went to the stairwell, God help him. I had to come this way, Brother James, and they may jump onto me the way it is. I said, God, take my life.
Yeah, let him say.
Take my life to spare Jeremiah. Now him and Patch and Jessica make it without me. I can't make it without them, Brother Jerry. I didn't become willing, Brother Jerry. I became willing right there again to lay my life down if it would have took it. But God had a different plan.
Yeah.
They was talking about all these things. This prayer means something today. I believe prayer is the key to the God's kingdom. And what did we do? We began to call home, Brother Jerry. I prayed for Jeremiah. I prayed for Jeremiah. He never did get down to where he couldn't do what they thought he was going to do. God sent this old doctor in there. He said, I got a treatment. Take 5 bags of this medicine. If 3 takes 3 and they don't start working, we'll have to do this, Brother Jerry. But guess what? After he took the 3, God stepped in. He started becoming mending today. Live for the Lord. I'll let your light shine out to your children. But not only your children, but your neighbor's children. And this is a good thing. It's not about Jeremiah, but it's about the Lord. What do you give God the praise for? We had to take Jeremiah down there and leave him, Brother James, when he was just a little boy. You talk about a hard thing to do. You can't break down in front of him, Brother Andy. But before we get out of the temple, I had to pull over beside the road, Brother Jerry. I couldn't see for the tears. I had to drive off and leave your little son. But God was there with him and helping him through life. God prospered him through life. But this is the greatest thing. Having the Lord in your life and meaning something to your children. We'd always go out and buy him a little something before we leave. We went out and bought him a little Bible, James. And this is what me and Patty told him. Mommy and Daddy can't be with you all the time. But here's your little Bible. I said, you read it. The Lord can always be here. He'll always answer you, Brother Randy. If you call upon him, Brother Jerry, he'll always be here with you. Mom and Daddy can't be, but the Lord can be here with you when we ain't. What a joy that is to be able to teach your children about that, Brother James, and let them know because you experienced that. So thankful to be here this evening. Not to take a lot of time to let Brother Randy come. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and that whosoever, and I'm so glad that I was a whosoever, he heard my cries, he heard my plea. I like Brother Andy. Thankful that God heard me, and thankful, you know, I'll tell this. Me and Patsy was going to church, and I had this thought, Brother James. Seeking after the Lord, and I thought, well, if I get the Lord in my life, will it cause confusion in the family? Will it cause problems between me and Patsy, Brother Jerry? But I was a praying Lord. That Lord working on that side, but I was trying to get forgiveness for myself. Coming off the hill one evening after church, I looked over at her. And I said, honey, if you ever feel like the Lord has forgiven you, don't never let me stand in your way. She looked back over at me, Brother James. She said, I feel the same way, Brother Jerry. If you ever feel like he forgives you, don't never let me stand in your way. And I thank you, Lord, for answering another prayer. But the day she was getting up and going to church, the day the Lord forgive me, I was sitting there in the church house asking God, just give me strength, Brother Jerry. I'd step out and put my light up on the candlestick, have my head bowed down and praying. And next thing I know, the church was rejoicing. What was they rejoicing about? Patsy had done beat me to the stand. I'd given her hand to become a member. What did that do for us? Turned our house into a home. It's been the best time we've ever had in our lives. It makes no difference what comes upon us. We got somebody to go to at the midnight hour. He's always made a way for us, Brother James. He's always put food on the table. And he's, like I said a while ago, he's blessed me above measure. But I thought it would cause confusion, but it just brought more love by Brother James. That we can pray for our children, pray for each other, and help ourselves along the way. I'm so thankful on the journey home.